What is up, Nerf Nation? I'm Naptown Nerf, and this is an unboxing and review of the Nerf N-Strike Elite Infinus. Okay, you guys, I cannot wait to get this thing out of the box. This thing is going to be super cool. It's going to allow us to top off our magazines while they're still in the blaster, while we're playing on the field, and I just think that is something that's really neat, really cool, and something brand new that Nerf has never come out with before. So I'm really excited to see how this thing works. The box is not really showing any range claims, and I really don't think there's much on here that we really need to look at. So let's go ahead and crack this thing open. Okay, you guys, so you get your Infinus, you get your 30 round drum, you get your directions, you get a little pamphlet showing you all the blasters that are out right now and all the different lines, and then you get your 30 elite darts. Alright, you guys, this is the Infinus, and right off the bat it feels pretty darn comfortable. Actually, this AFG, even though it looks really weird and just humongous, it's very comfortable, and I really like it a lot. The stock is not as, I thought it was going to be like way too short, but it's not too bad. It's a little short, to be honest, but it's not bad at all, and it's pretty darn comfortable, to be honest. So that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and throw in that drum and see how this loading mechanism works. So here's our 35 round drum. We'll put that home. It is very difficult to put in. Okay, that made it easier. So if you hold the mag release forward and then insert it in, it goes in much smoother. But I usually never have to do that when putting it in a magazine, only when taking it out, obviously. So when you put it in without pushing on that, it does go in, but it's a lot harder. So something to note there for sure. And let's see how long it takes to load 30 darts. Okay, you guys, so this blaster requires 4D batteries to be used. I've already put them in, obviously, as I've loaded the drum up with them, but they just go right on the side here. You have to remove these two screws with a Phillips head screwdriver, and then you will have to purchase 4D batteries to run this blaster, so that is an additional cost. I know some Nerf blasters these days are coming with batteries, which is really nice, but this one does not, so that is something to note. Now, we do have a couple tactical rails on top, one here and one here, but there is none on the sides, unfortunately. But, you know, two is better than nothing, so that's pretty cool. We have a sling point in the back here, underneath here, and one in the front underneath the barrel there, so that's pretty cool. There is a somewhat of a slit here in front that allows you to kind of line up your shots, but there is not really an iron sight of any form here. You do have a jam door on the opposite side of the blaster right here, so you can, you know, clear any jams, and that's obviously crucial with all this stuff going on. I'm sure that if you put in a dart the wrong direction, or if you put a really crappy dart in there, that you might need to clear a jam, obviously. So that is cool. Really neat jam door. Obviously, you will rev the blaster with this part down here. If you've never used a flywheel blaster, you have to push this before pulling the trigger to fire. Now this blaster is full auto, so you pull and hold, and it will just continue to fire the blaster until your magazine is out, obviously. So that's really cool. Now this blaster does have a pusher mechanism like a Rapid Strike, which is awesome. Cannot wait to get this thing open and modify it. Now it will take some time for me to get to this because there's a lot going on in this blaster. So I will try to do a modification guide at some point on this blaster, but it may be a little while, so be patient with me. Now, one thing that I've noticed about this blaster is there is very little paint on it. They have lots of different colors of plastic, which is really cool. We have 4 different types of plastic. We have blue, we have black, we have orange, and we have a light gray. So that's really neat, but there is very little paint. The only thing that's painted is the Nerf logo here, the Infinus in front, and this little infinity symbol, which is obviously relating to the Infinus. So that's pretty cool. I think I like this a lot better than them deciding only to paint one side of the blaster, so I am not unhappy about this at all. So that is something that they're kind of going towards, I've noticed, because I guess painting the blasters is super expensive now for whatever reason. But we do have that tiger striping on the blaster here again, just like the Hyperfire, and I'm actually a big fan of that. I like this a lot more, honestly, than the Digicamo that I've never really cared for too much. So I think that's cool, adds some texture to the blaster, and it's really neat. I do like the designing on the blaster. I think it's a really nice looking blaster. It is a bit bulky, maybe a little bulkier than I would like, especially with this AFG, which is kind of out of place in terms of, you know, looks, but in terms of comfort, I think it's great, and it really does help you shoulder and hold the blaster. I think it's a really nice, actually, AFG, and I don't mind it too much now. So let's go ahead and fire this thing off. Reasonable rate of fire. Definitely doesn't have a lot of power. I can tell that right off the bat, and this is very common, obviously, with full auto stock Nerf blasters, because alkaline batteries cannot just, they just can't keep up with the rate of fire, even with a slow rate of fire like this. So that isn't unusual, and this definitely will need to be modified, but we will definitely take it outside, put it over the chronograph and on the range, and see what kind of performance it is getting in stock form. So let's do that. So let's go ahead and fire off some elite darts. 62, 70, 63, 68, 70, duplicate 70, 70, 67, 66, 69, 71, 69, 73, 71, 73. Wow, we won't shoot all 30, but that's better than I thought it was doing. Some of those really caught the wind nicely and flew, and other ones didn't, but let's go ahead and check out those ranges. All right, shortest one here at 26 feet. And we have a couple more here, about 34 and 35. We have a few, one at 37, a few here at 39, and the ranges were kind of spread out. Some fell short and some flew forever, and that's kind of how these elite darts go. But we have a sprinkling of darts all the way up to the last two here. One is at 53 and another one here at 58. Pretty wide range there. Let's try some AccuFakes and see if they're a little more consistent. All right, you guys, we've got AccuFakes loaded up here. It did a great job loading those AccuFakes into this 22 worker mag. Now, it will not know that the 22 worker mag is full at 22 darts, because you can put more in there, but I highly don't recommend you fit more than 22 darts in your worker mags, as it will destroy that spring. So let's go ahead and put some shots over the chronograph. 60, 69, 64, 46, 71, 70, 69, 70, duplicate 70, 69. So right around 70, except for that one strange low one. I kind of want to disregard that one, but let's go ahead and take a look at the ranges. Shortest one here is at 31 feet. And there's another one here at 35, but most of them are between this like 37 and a half foot range to about 42, and there's a few, well, maybe just one here that is all the way up at 45 feet. So, you know, better consistency obviously out of the AccuFakes, and definitely more accuracy. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and fire some full auto shots with the Infinus. I went ahead and filled up the drum with a few AccuFakes and elite darts, so we'll get a little bit of both. And let's go ahead and put some foam down range. All right, let's take a look at the ranges. Looks like most of the AccuFakes went right around that 27-foot range. And then we have the longest AccuFake and the shortest elite dart right there at 30. So with full auto, you definitely got a little more range with the elite darts, which is to be expected. And I would say the average distance for those elite darts is right around that 35, 36-foot range. So pretty good. I'm really thankful that they decided to go back to that pusher mechanism from the belt system they've been using lately. So much easier to get off single shots, as you can tell when I did my chronograph testing. It's nice to be able just to get off a single shot when you want to with a full auto blaster, because, you know, some people like to conserve their ammo in certain game types, so that is definitely nice to have. So let's go back inside and I'll give you my final thoughts. Alright you guys, so the Infinus is performing on par with most Elite style blasters at that 70 FPS mark, at least when you single shot it, but when you pull full auto and you're shooting dart after dart, it will lose FPS and it will lose range. So that is pretty normal for anything running off of alkalines that's pushing out full auto. You're not going to get the kind of range you normally do with a semi-auto blaster. Now, I really like this blaster a lot. I think it's very, very comfortable. I love this AFG that, I mean, I don't really like the way it looks, but it's so comfortable and so needed there that I can't really fault Hasbro for putting it there. I think it's actually really, really nice, and I can get over the way it looks. So, yeah, I think this is pretty darn cool. It is nice that they've added a 30-round drum into the mix. Love that capacity. I mean, we've been missing that 35-round drum for a while since the Raider went out of, commission. So it's pretty cool to have a 30-round drum available to us again. Now, I doubt we'll probably be able to purchase that separately, but, at least we can get it this way. Now, this blaster does retail for $70, so it's got to be really worth that price tag, obviously, to you. I do expect it to probably go on sale at some point and come down to maybe around that $50-$55 mark, and I think that's a more reasonable price for this. But if you really like this blaster, if you think it's something that you would play with a lot, then I would say go for it, because honestly the only thing I really don't like about this blaster is the fact that the loading is just so difficult, and you really do have to get used to pushing on that magazine release in to actually load the blaster, because if you don't do that, it is very difficult to get a magazine in there, and that can really hurt you when you're playing in a Nerf war or an HVZ event. If you can't load a magazine quickly, you could be out of commission there. You could be dead. So it's important to be able to load your blaster quickly, and that is definitely a little bit of an issue here. So that's really the only problem, and it is a pretty big problem to me. I'm hoping that will get better when it's modified. You can remove some of those locks in there. The loading mechanism worked really well with all the magazines I tested it with and all the darts I tested it with, and I even tested it with some used Naptown Nerf Club darts, and they were dirty, and they were, all different kinds, AccuFakes, Waffles, Mingun, Koosh darts, so it loaded those just fine. Actually, it had the most issues probably loading the Nerf Elite darts, where it would load one 3/4 away, and then the next one would push in, and it would actually load that one fully, and then the next one fully, which is good that it can correct itself and fix itself like that. I was really impressed that it was able to do that. But it was just strange to me that it had the most issues with those Nerf Elite darts. But it is very impressive that mechanism could correct itself, so I was impressed by that. So yeah, I think the Infinus is a sweet blaster. I will definitely link a buy link in the description box below, so check that out. And it's an Amazon affiliate link, so if you use that link, it actually helps the channel and does not cost you anything more, so I would greatly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed, please think about subscribing. If you want to get notified to when I post a video, think about ringing the bell for notifications. That will alert you to when I post a new video, a new review, a new mod guide, a new mod, what have you. Also, don't forget to smash that like button. And as always, guys, peace out.